Welcome back, everybody, to the Strong Conversations podcast here live at IBS 2025 in Las Vegas. I, of course, am Sam Marcoux, and I am joined by Cherie Abbott from My Safe Haven. Cherie, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
Good.
This is, I believe, officially day 2 of the International Builder Show. It feels like day 125 for me.
Yeah.
Lots of good conversations, lots of strong conversations, if you will. But my voice is starting to remind me that I've been talking a lot over the last couple of days.
Sound a little bit like me, but just different.
Well, I mean, how are you doing? Because you were here last week before the show
Yep.
with your team.
Yes.
And then you went home for a cup of coffee and then came back out here for the show.
Yeah. A lot of traveling, a lot of airports, a lot of germ-infested airplanes. A lot of fun.
Yeah. So do you travel a lot? Are you
Yes.
traveling? What's your travel schedule like usually?
About once a month right
Okay.
now. It's a little bit slower, but when I'm traveling in my divisions, it picks up. It'll probably start picking up next month, more into the spring.
Okay. Well, speaking of your divisions, I guess what we should do, the proper thing to do would be to have you actually tell everybody what you do for My Safe Haven, who you are, what your responsibilities are, and how long you've been doing it for.
Okay. So I'm the national coordinator for our builder division. I've been with Safe Haven for just over 9 years. And I kind of call myself the jack of all trades.
Yeah.
So I travel, meet with our builders, manage our concierge team, and just kind of keep everybody informed of everything that's going on.
Make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and doing it the right way.
Yes.
So you said you've been there 9 years?
Mm-hmm.
And you manage the concierge team.
Yes.
What is the concierge team? What do they do for you guys?
So they reach out to the buyers that we get from our builder partners and set up their smart home.
Okay.
Yes.
So how many people are on that team?
We have roughly 65 right now.
65.
Mm-hmm.
So you are leading a team of 65.
Yes.
I don't even know how to wrap my head around that number. It's one of those numbers like sometimes when people say it's worth $4 billion, like, okay, that's kind of a made up number. But managing 65 people, like managing one person, managing myself is hard enough. How do you manage a team of 65? There's so many questions I have about that.
You know, I read a lot of reports because we have so many different things that we can track, like talk time or, really what they're doing on their computers every day and how many times they've contacted each buyer to get in touch with them to make sure we get everything set up for them. But also just knowing each person and their different personalities and how they work and what motivates them is really the fun part of the job.
So, I mean, obviously you have to scale out and rely on data analytics, I think, when you're managing a team. Are we focused on the right thing? Are we doing it at the right time? But meeting them where they're at, their communication style. Do you have different generations that you are working with in terms of, do you have millennials? Do you have Gen Zers? Do you have
We have
boomers?
all of the above.
You have all of them?
Yes. I think our youngest one is 21 and our oldest one is in his 60s.
Okay.
So it's a vast group.
And that's a communication completely different. And there's not a right or a wrong. It's just the way it is. But do you have to change your communication style depending on who you're managing in terms of how you direct them and actually what device you use, which platform, or is it universal throughout?
It's universal throughout with our platforms and everything that we use every day. The learning style for them is different, so we adapt to that.
Yeah. So what was that like? Has it always been 65, or did it sort of blossom and bloom into that over time?
I was the very first one.
Okay.
And then it blossomed into 20, 30. We've had as high as 100.
Wow.
And then our sweet spot's kind of 65 to 70.
Yeah. Well, and you seem like you're managing it fine. Like even talking about it, I feel like I'm sweating thinking about, I can't imagine having to have that many touch points with so many people, because you do want to have that, you want to contact them and communicate with them. But what's been the biggest challenge there with 65 people?
I think just making sure everything is getting done and being able to stay on top of that with all of our processes and just making sure that we're meeting the needs of our partners.
Yeah.
And also being successful as employees.
Yeah. That's a lot. And I commend you for doing that. We should probably talk a little bit about Safe Haven. So explain to everybody listening right now exactly what the company does for the industry.
Okay. So we do smart homes, which can be a very big thing, or it can be kind of what you make it. So we tailor it to the builder that we're working with. So we do set up thermostats, the Amazon Echoes, the little
Yeah.
Amazon things, door locks. We work with Deco, Quickset, Schlade, all the door locks. So we have to set that up, and then we're also an authorized dealer for ADT.
Okay.
So we do security as well.
Awesome. So I think when people hear smart home, everyone sort of has probably at least a fuzzy idea of what that means. But like you said, it could be kind of whatever you make it to be.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say door locks, like on my house, I have like a little keypad,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll unlock and lock the door. So I don't actually have a physical key anymore.
Yep.
Would that be an example of a smart home in terms of that sort of technology, or is that not exactly right?
That's one of the components that
Okay.
we use, yes.
Okay. So I have some of those other ones that you're talking about as well. So this is good because I want to tell people I have a smart home, but I don't know that if I actually do or not. So you are the expert. You could actually help me out here. One of the things that when people, we're all, right now I'm looking out as we record this here, and there's, dozens of people in the booth talking about whatever, but when you hear the term smart phone, smart home, smart anything, one of the areas that I always hear, and I kind of chuckle as well, that just means the government's kind of listening in on your house when you're walking around talking about whatever you're talking about.
Yeah, we do hear that a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that true?
No. Well, not that I'm aware of, no. I
Yeah.
can't.
So you guys at least are not, right? You're not government contractors listening in on anybody's.
We
yeah.
don't have any access to your smart home once you set it up.
Do you hear that, everybody? Smarten up your home. They don't have access to anything. You can talk about your sister or your brother-in-law and know that it's going to stay within the walls there.
Yes.
Excellent. So you said 9 years. What's been the biggest change for you and your group and this side of the industry over those 9 years? What's that experience been like? Is it better? Is it worse? Is it challenging? Is it easier?
After COVID, that was really like a golden era for us.
Oh, yeah.
But then after that, with interest rates continually going up, and now we have tariffs and labor shortages potentially, I think that may have an impact on us, but we've not seen too much of it yet.
Okay.
A little bit we've probably seen more of is just the interest rate and people struggling to get into homes more with the payments and that kind of thing.
So during the COVID era, like you said, it was kind of the golden age because there was such a run for a bunch of reasons, so many factors. But at its core, I think a lot of people just didn't want to have shared spaces, and they wanted to have their spot.
Mm-hmm.
And there was sort of a convergence of all these what turned out to be positives for people to be able to afford a home. And if they're going to buy a home, they want to have the latest and greatest, which would make sense that they want to have a smart home there. With the challenges that we're seeing today, and like you said, a little bit of uncertainty. I think there's a lot of people waiting and hoping that it'll straighten itself out, and later this year, we'll start to see a return to either normal or maybe a little bit beyond, because demand is going to be so pent up. Is that kind of what you guys are seeing? Is that how you're gauging the rest of this year, or do you see it differently?
No, that's pretty much how we're going to gauge the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Just watching and waiting and hoping and praying that everything kind of falls back into normalcy and interest rates go down and people are able to get into the homes that they want.
So if there is that pent-up demand, let's just say third quarter, pick a time on the calendar, how do you guys prepare for that? Do you take the time now to just get ready knowing that we might have an explosion a little bit later in the year, or is there anything you guys are doing now to be prepared for that later in the year?
We really just focus on what our builder partners are sending over with their sales and closings.
Yeah.
So, we can forecast that out a little bit, but not a crazy amount.
Yeah.
So the sweet spot that we have with the number of employees that we have, really, we can work with that. And if they end up having a really, really busy month, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And if they have a slower month, that gives them a time to really catch their breath and get ready for the next one.
Gotcha. All right, so we are here at the International Builder Show. You were here last week. You're here again. You're leaving in a few hours. You get to go home.
Yes.
Right? Kansas City is your home.
Yes.
So that's got to be exciting. But what have you seen here? What got you the most excited about the industry in your few days here at the International Builder Show?
Just the size of it.
Yeah.
And everything that goes into building a home. Like, for me, the smart home, that's
Yeah.
really my wheelhouse. But when you think about building a house, it's not just walls and windows and cabinets. It's the software to make the house. It's the ties to put everything together. And it's just overwhelming, and just to talk to everybody and learn what they do so I have a better knowledge of it.
Yeah.
So when buyers do ask me questions, I have an educated answer.
Well, that's really cool. It is kind of like a walking education piece when you go everywhere and just kind of understand how it all goes together. And you're right, software is just prevalent. I'm a hardware guy. I've been at Simpson 23 years. And we have this software tower. We call it the tech tower outside of the studio here, which is massive. It's got to be 20 feet tall. And it's all about software, stuff. And that's every booth out here. Everyone's got technology and software. That is the future of the industry, is things like smart homes and using software to benefit and make the lives easier for home owners day in and day out. What else? Anything else you want to talk about before I free you so that you can actually go home and not be in Las Vegas for another day?
No, I think we've hit all the major points I wanted to, other than I am not a Kansas City Chiefs fan. I just want to throw that out there.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you did, because we've had at least 3 Philadelphia Eagles fans in the booth here over the last couple of days, and they have been very braggadocious. And I was like, be cautionary, I should say. We might run into some Chiefs fans, but so far I haven't met anybody that likes the Chiefs. I think everybody's a little bit saturated on Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes.
100%. Yeah, I can absolutely agree with that.
Are you a football fan, though?
I am. I'm from Michigan originally, so I'm a Lions fan.
Lions are having a really good, renaissance right now. I don't know anybody, unless you're like a Packers fan or something, that isn't rooting for the Lions, because what a great story and turnaround for them.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, before I do let you go, and before you make your great escape out of Las Vegas, I've been asking everybody a very similar question, but if you had to play one casino game and you could win $1 million, you get to pick the game. Which game are you playing and why?
I would play roulette.
Roulette.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's my game.
Okay.
So why roulette?
Because it's really pretty easy. I'm not a huge gambler, and I don't know all the ins and outs of poker and all that stuff, and it's really just red or black, and it seems like it's pretty easy.
It's going to give you one of the best odds to win.
Yeah.
So that to me is a very logical, or smart, if you will, answer to that. So, well, she is the advocate for smart homes everywhere. She's Cherie Abbott from My Safe Haven. Cherie, thank you very much for being here on Strong Conversations. Thank you all for joining us. Stay tuned. We got more interviews, more content, more stuff live from the International Builder Show in Las Vegas, Nevada. Stay tuned.